Dave, welcome to AI World. How are you doing today?
Great, Nihar. Great to be here.
That's fantastic. So for those who may not know you, I know a lot of people do, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hello, everybody. Dave Whitaker. I lead the solution engineering team at Oracle. Been part of this ecosystem for more than 20 years. Started out as a customer of Hyperion and got a job with Hyperion because I just loved it so much. Helped a lot of companies implement Hyperion back in the day. And then I moved over into the solution engineering world. And I've been lucky enough to help lead the Hyperion and now Oracle EPM solution engineering team for almost 20 years.
Wow. So it's you've seen the whole transformation happen from Hyperion on-premise now to the cloud, and now we're going to AI.
Yeah.
So what do you think really separates just an implementation versus a truly transformative solution?
Yeah, I think it's visionary leadership, and not just looking at what are we doing today, but how do we want to do things in the future, and how can the technology enable those processes, right? The companies that struggle a bit more are the ones that are just looking at like lifting and shifting and keeping status quo. And when there's not strong leadership at the top, that's like enforcing change management and building excitement and getting buy-in from key stakeholders, like that's a recipe for failure. So the companies that really succeed are the ones that have great leadership at the beginning and are looking at all the potential areas that you can transform your business using the technology.
Yeah, that's a good point because oftentimes we can implement solutions, but if nobody's using them,
right,
what's the point, right? So having that executive buy-in is always critical for that change to occur. As you've been doing this for 20 years now, what are some of the things that customers do first in that process, or do they do it all at once? Is it all finance, all accounting, all on the data side? What do you think works best?
Yeah, every company's journey is a little different. I just actually left a session with a very visionary type of organization that they're identifying where their quickest wins are. So they're actually going live with account reconciliations first, which was not really part of their evaluation at all. They were evaluating consolidation vendors and management reporting were kind of their big rocks, but they're actually going live with account recs first because they were using a different vendor and spending a lot of money with that vendor. And it was low-hanging fruit. They can save a lot of money on that side while also laying out the foundation for the full platform. And so they're implementing enterprise data management and consolidation and reporting all along that, but going live with that account reconciliations first. So I think that just laying out a project plan and being able to adopt modularly what makes the most sense on your own timeline is great.
Let's talk about planning and budgeting, right? A lot of customers that we've seen typically have some type of annual budget process, and they're entering cost center data, maybe they're doing a department level plan, but that's really the extent of it. How can a solution like Oracle EPM help them take forecasting and budgeting to the next level?
Yeah, and I think that this is, as we were talking about before, this is where a lot of companies actually struggle with that change management piece. And the end user, it's difficult to get them to want to change, right? I'm only responsible for my one little thing and my one spreadsheet or my combination of spreadsheets that I'm personally responsible for. And so that's where when you have a strong leadership that can paint a picture of how their life is going to improve, that's where customers really get value from Oracle EPM. Being able to automate mundane tasks and being able to drive efficiencies and focus your time as that individual contributor on more value-add tasks to the organization.
Are these like massive new projects? How do customers turn this stuff on?
Buttons are pushed, boxes are checked, and things of that nature. You can turn on the Insights capabilities. It's really designed to be able to do it without much support whatsoever, and our team is helping customers. We have a dedicated AI adoption program where we're helping customers. Where companies are struggling with AI adoption is, where do we get started? How do we start? That's like, what are the use cases that are applicable to our organization? And where's the data reside within our applications that we are looking for? Those are some of the challenges that we're seeing companies as they're encounter as they're looking to adopt AI.
Is there an example of a customer or a story that really impacted you? Maybe somebody here at Cloud World or a customer you've talked to, AI World, I should say.
So many companies are going through vendor rationalization right now. They're eliminating tools. They're looking for cost savings. They're looking for a simplified user experience and things of that nature. So one of my favorite companies is a company that went through that. They used BlackLine for account reconciliations. They had Hyperion planning. They had Hyperion financial management. They had Anaplan in one division that had kind of gone rogue a little bit and done their own thing for planning. From there, they went down a path of, they got off of Anaplan right away. They replaced BlackLine. They moved Hyperion Planning to the cloud. They moved HFM to the cloud. They were going through a spin-off. And this company, as they split into two different companies, they went live with consolidations, and they could not have done it with the old HFM application, is the story that they love to tell. And just hearing how that split off of the company and how moving into our consolidation in the cloud helped them to transform faster as they were splitting off the business. They actually shaved days off their close process, and their consolidation time is much faster in the cloud. Their reporting is much more efficient and much more modern, and it's just and now we're helping them enable AI. They actually came to Kscope, give Kscope a plug. Hopefully y'all listening will be in Denver this summer. Kscope is the premier EPM conference if you're not familiar with it. And so they were at Kscope this past year. They had 4 different sessions telling their success story. But yeah, it's really exciting to see what they've done.
Days off their close process.
Yeah.
Wow. So I know that some companies take up to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes a month to close their books, especially when it comes to year end. Is that a way to measure the return, or how do you measure what you're getting out of an implementation like this, an investment that still has to be undertaken? How
can we move from insight to action, right? It's all about getting to changing the business, forecasting better or faster, right? When you listen to Oracle, who has the fastest close in the S&P 500, we're typically reporting on business day 8 or something like that after we close our books. When you listen to our senior leadership, they're talking about how that is enabling them to get into the business faster, to forecast, to look at what changes we need to make. That's how you measure success in these projects.
The types of customers or the industries that are adopting these tools, is there one that stands out, or is it financial services or healthcare or manufacturing, or is it pretty applicable across all industries?
Yeah, that's the beauty of EPM. We have great success across all industries. We work great with Oracle ERP systems, whether that's Fusion ERP or eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft or JD Edwards, but also with all other ERP systems. So it's fun to be able to go in, some of the largest SAP companies in the world. From Fortune #1 on down, they all rely on Oracle EPM. So it's really fun to be able to go across all different industries and all different companies of different shapes and sizes.
The vendor rationalization that's happening at customers. So how has the competitive landscape changed in the past few years, or where do you see it going in the future?
It's funny. It's really the same as it's always been. We are Oracle, Hyperion, we are the one steady. There's been so many niche vendors that have come out, right? Like BlackLine obviously is a great account reconciliation product, but it's just, that's all they do, right? Anaplan is a solid planning tool, but that's all they do. Sure, they've bought Fluence, which is a consolidation company, but trying to put those two companies together in one platform and compete against Oracles and OneStreams of the world. I just had a phone call from a guy that I've worked with for a long time. Unfortunately, a year, 18 months ago, their company made the decision to move off of Hyperion to OneStream, and he called me about a month ago, just begging me, Dave, please help me get back. I don't care if it's even Hyperion, whether it's Hyperion or Oracle Cloud, OneStream's just not what it looks like in the demos. And we, it's very technical and very code intensive, and he just is really not enjoying it. It's not delivering the value to their business users. We're hearing more and more of that as these companies use these disparate tools, and being able to have just one platform that is modern, that's AI driven and focused going forward. There's a lot of that going on in the market right now, and it's no different than it was a decade ago when you had the last round of ankle biters that were trying to compete with Hyperion and Oracle. So it's kind of just a replay of what we've seen over the history.
Yeah, I mean, as partners, we can choose to partner with any vendor for software, and we've been in this Oracle space for a while, and it seems to be that they've always led the pack in terms of market share and success. So definitely can echo that sentiment.
It's really funny to look at the Gartner Magic Quadrants going back, I don't know, the first one I think I have was like 2005 or 2006, and just seeing Hyperion or Oracle in that top right quadrant. We're the ones steady, and you see all these bubbles that move around, and so many of them are no longer on that Magic Quadrant, but Oracle / Hyperion, we're consistently in the top right.
What do you think that secret sauce is?
I mean, commitment to our product from the top on down, right? You know, Matt Bradley, our Senior Vice President of Development, he's been here for, 25 years or whatever, running this product. And it's family. My work is family. My team that's here, these are my brothers and sisters. Like we just have so much fun together, and it shows when we're investing in our customers. And so I think that just that commitment to our customer success, and it's a big way that we've changed and grown. We haven't always been known for having the best customer support. We've worked really hard. It's fun. It's something I'm really proud of. That how, as a leader, I've been able to help transform is how we support our customers and how responsive we are with customer support issues and things of that nature. It's really validating to hear when we're talking to our customers when they come unprompted and say, wow, yeah, how you are supporting us, it's so much better than it was 5 years ago and things of that nature. So it's just, that's how we continue to transform, continue to lead in that Gartner Magic Quadrant and other industry analyst space.
Is that because of the nature of the business model changing from an on-premise license to now a service delivered over the internet?
Yeah, we have a lot more skin in the game, right? In the on-prem world, we would sell you software that you would go install on your servers, and we'd kind of leave you alone. Now, just like you can turn off your Netflix subscription every month, it's a little harder, obviously, with enterprise software. But yeah, at the end of your 3-year or 5-year or whatever contract, you have to make a decision. Are you going to stick with Oracle, or are you going to look at something else? And that comes back to the vendor rationalization, right? We're able to capitalize on that. When we prove success with your consolidation project or your planning project, it makes it a lot easier for you to make that decision to turn off a BlackLine or some other competitive solution.
So I know you said that Oracle has this platform of products, but if I buy consolidations today and then I want to implement planning next year, do I have to go buy more software?
No, that's the beauty. Another reason why I think we've only increased our leadership in terms of how we're evaluated in the marketplace is because we've simplified that pricing model. We sell one thing, Enterprise EPM, and when you buy Enterprise EPM, you get absolutely everything. And so, a user is a user is a user. We don't count. Do you have consolidation users and account recs users and planning users? Like if you access all of those, that's just one thing that you have access to all of them. So, our customers love that, and it makes it a no-brainer for rolling it out to new processes.
Yeah, because now that I think about it, if you've got a OneStream, an Anaplan, a BlackLine, a Thomson Reuters, whatever it might be, you could probably replace 4, 5, 6 solutions with just one. That's what it seems like, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's one simplified user experience as well. You log in one time. We do talk about these as modules. That's purpose built by Oracle. Like, we believe that it doesn't make sense to shove everything in one application. There's a lot of negative implications that come along with putting that into one application. Accounting and finance, they're just different reporting timelines, and audit says you can't make changes to your application during certain times of the year because you're in year-end close or whatever. Like, that really holds back the FP&A team. So being able to have those purpose-built capabilities that you need in FP&A versus what the accounting team needs, and being able to deploy them at your own pace. It's very easy just to stand up a new module on demand when you're ready to get started with that. But from an end user perspective, from an administrative perspective, from an integration perspective, it's all just one application, one platform that your end users, they don't know, am I in planning, am I in consolidation, et cetera. It's just one user experience with one consistent reporting and administrative platform.
When when you're talking through this, I'm just thinking about, going forward, if I'm adding all these modules, how do I manage all the integrations and the data? And I've got to update an account in one application, got to update it in another 5 applications, but it's the same piece of data. How does that get managed in the application?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the platform approach is you don't have to worry about managing those things all separately. We have one integration. If you're used to FDM, if you came from the Hyperion world, like that's just built into the cloud now. And so we bring in data one time and you can push it wherever it needs to go into any of these modules. We have consistent hierarchy or metadata management. So if you needed to create a new chart of accounts member, a new entity or whatever, you create that once and it's going to update the applications that it should, including ERP or data warehouse or non-Oracle solutions, non-EPM solutions as well. So it's, customers love that about our platform.
Do you think that it makes sense to do those types of things at the beginning of an implementation or in the middle or at the end?
We have customers do it all of those ways. I absolutely believe it. You build the foundation of the house first, right? So getting that governance in place at the beginning of a project, it makes the most sense, but that doesn't work for all companies. And so we have other customers that do it on the tail end. And so while not my recommended path, if you're already down that path and you're struggling there, it's never too late to get started with that.
Yeah, so they can just get started immediately with 47 minutes from email to turning it on.
Yeah, assuming that you have in that case, right, obviously the quality data is already there in place.
Right.
That is the biggest struggle that I see companies, like enabling the AI and the technology is super easy. You literally check some boxes. It's so easy, my teenagers could do it, right? But companies do struggle sometimes finding their data. Those are the types of things that we see companies struggling with as they're trying to get started in their AI journey, because every company, every board of directors is pushing hard on AI. What are you doing with AI? Like to their constituents in the business. And people can be a little hesitant, and so yeah, finding those use cases is how we're helping advise companies right now, and where we're looking for partners like EPMI to really step up and help guide them. It's so important that you have quality people leading you and helping advise you in that way.
Okay.
Talking with Rich Wilkie, our VP of product management on the closed consolidation side of the house yesterday, he was talking about an agent that is going to write code for you, right? You're not going to have to write the logic, and that's actually just a huge thing that we already built into the cloud is if you're an HFM customer, right, you don't have to write rules anymore. You're not writing VB script anymore. We've taken, thousands of lines of VB script code out of custom code and deploy it out of the box for our customers. So that's just a huge advantage for companies over the past 5 years that have been moving to the cloud. But then obviously we do still allow for configurable rules for uniqueness of your business. And those aren't always written as optimally and performant as they should be. And so not only will the agent write those configurable rules for you, but they will do so in an optimal configured way, so you're going to have really performant rules. So that's going to be a big change for implementation partners, right? And so how are you going to continue adding value? It's not going to be about clicking the buttons in the application is what I'm predicting. It's going to be about truly advising and helping companies transform and make use of the AI that's Oracle's delivering.
Yeah, VB script, that's a blast from the past.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. No, I think we've saw that happen with the cloud as well. I mean, I started my career installing the software, and then we've actually had to change our entire model to not hire folks who are deep technology experts, but more so business process experts to help guide customers. So I totally see that as a continuing trend.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you had to give customers or prospects, one piece of advice on, how to get started with their journey, whether they're an existing Hyperion customer or if they've got OneStream and Blackline or they're just on Excel.
It's definitely about having the right team on all sides, leveraging the Oracle partnership with the right implementation partner and your internal team. And not just looking at what is the scope of this project, but having that vision of what's beyond this project. Our most successful customers have a team of people. Like the innovation's coming so fast in EPM, right? We're delivering every single month new updates, and that can be a little overwhelming. And it saddens me how many companies don't have people that are looking at that every month and having a plan of what's important to us, is going to impact our business, and what is our timeline of how we're going to adopt some of these things. How much is this going to cost us? How much time is this going to take us? And is this high value to our organization or low value? And so like lower cost, higher impact ones, that's where they're going to start. Having that at the beginning of a project, what is your plan for that? Don't look at just this project, but like long term, how are we going to continue evolving this beyond just getting past go live, right? Data validation, man, the customer I was meeting with this morning, you know, they're in data validation. They're trying to go live for January 1st, and like, oh my gosh, like just I could see the anxiety when I mentioned data validation to him this morning. Like, you got to see past that and have a plan beyond just that go live of the first project.
Yeah, go live is the first step, then you got to raise it, right?
Right.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for coming out. It was great chatting with you, and I hope you have a great week here at Cloud World.
All right, Nihar, thanks for everything you do for our community.